Hey. Sigh of relief. The special's done. We taped it. We did it. It's fall, so let's get rid of that fucking beach bullshit. Cut 2.5 inches off my hair, which felt good. I wanted to do that before the special, but every last penny counted. Turned out great, man. I can't wait for everybody to see it. Oh yeah, I also shaved my beard. I haven't done that in years. 7, 8 years, something like that. Feels good though, just to, do something different. It looks, doesn't it look, when you don't, like, I can't tell if I look like younger or older, or like, I'm like, did my chin always look like this? And I'm like walking around, my girlfriend's like, what, are you dying? What is your face having a fucking seizure? And the rest of you's fine? Like, I'm talking fine, but I'm like this. I'm like, yeah, I don't know if, I really should have dinner because I think my jaw is different now. I don't know. Feels weird. But, still fucking badass. Badass guy with a not badass coffee mug. Ready? Fuck are you looking at? That's what I thought. He won't be coming back. Okay. That thing is funny. This is the most your girlfriend got a mug ever. Oh, the green screen. You can't really see the handle. The handle is like a fucking leaf or some shit. I don't fucking know. Listen. I'm a little disjointed. I didn't have a plan. There's just too much that's happened in the last month and a half or whatever. Like, burping is now a thing I do on this podcast. So get ready for that to happen every 10 seconds. For every episode going forward, no matter what. So yeah, let's rewind. Let's start with this. I became an American citizen. Hold on. It's a little bit of a celebration. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. I didn't even know you guys were here. That's so crazy. Yeah, no, it's honestly, I know, are you applauding because you're here or because whatever. So yeah, that I didn't really publicly talk about that too much. Like, I know I posted some stupid photos on Instagram with the shirt my best friend got me that said American citizen established 2022, which I kept and I'm gonna wear a lot. But it was one of those things where it was just like a long time coming, and it felt more like a relief than a celebration, for a lot of different reasons. I think I had been unable to do it for a long time, and then afraid to do it for certain periods of time, and then I kind of just forgot about it for other stretches of time because I was like, well, who wants to vote? Like stuff like that. And obviously, who wants to do jury duty? But I weirdly do want to. So I kind of am like, yeah, summon me. Let's go, decide someone's fate. I think that would be interesting. Not really to decide someone's fate, but I I don't know. I feel um like for example, the day that went to my interview, I had to do an interview at the immigration office. And it was in an unmarked van heading to Mexico. No, it was in an office, like any other. It wasn't anything special. You just like you walk into a room and then you're waiting. This is after like you fill out all the paperwork and they make you go through all this shit. You got to do like, you got to write down everything about your entire life here. Like all the jobs you've had and all, what you do now and blah blah blah. And so you do that and then they review it for like 3 years. I know there were COVID delays and stuff, but even with that it just took, it still it just takes so long. It costs a lot of money, and which really, is going to delay a lot of people when it comes to getting this done. And also the language barrier for a lot of people is there too, because if you can't like, if you don't have someone there with you, or like another option's like getting an immigration lawyer or, whatever. And to have someone who can like sort through all the legal jargon that you can't understand, it should cost money. So you just like, you put it off and off and off. And I finally got through all those hurdles, and then it was just like this waiting game. And then, the COVID lockdowns and all that stuff really just pushed everything further and further. And then like the little excitement that I kind of had just turned into, like a fleeting sort of like, oh yeah, that's going to happen soon. Yeah, well, we'll see. And then you forget, and then one day you just get a letter. It's like your interview's on this day, and I had to like clear my road schedule. I had like a few dates left, leading up to when I was gonna tape the special, and I kind of just had to like postpone them and just wait around, because I didn't really know like what was going to happen after that. Are they going to have the ceremony a week, 2 weeks? So the interview itself was on a date that I was supposed to be on the road. So I had to reschedule. It was like either Portland or Seattle or something. So I had to reschedule that. And then I went to the interview, and it was, they were so fucking pumped up on security, because I think they're like, the day I found out that I was going, or not the day I found out, I'm sorry, the day I went in to do the interview, was supposed to be this day where I was like, oh man, this is it, it's gonna happen. I'm like one step, this is the final hurdle. And it was the day they overturned Roe v. Wade. So I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'm not going to go around, hey, everybody, great news, I'm about to become an American citizen, because people are going to be like, now in this America, because it was obviously bad news that they, overturned Roe v. Wade. And I'm like, yeah, I'm about to be a part of this country that's sliding back into the fucking 19th century. So I didn't really tell anyone. I just was like, oh, all right, well, I guess I'll just quietly do this, which isn't, it isn't a reason not to tell anyone, but it was just like, I didn't want to deal with the headache, like I'm an outspoken person too. So I knew I'm going to have friends and this and that who are just going to skip right over I finally belong fully legally in the country I've lived in my whole life. They'll just gloss right over that and be like, you got fucking, I would leave if I were you. Why do you even want to be a citizen? Blah, blah, blah. And that actually, something like that happened later. But so I do the interview, and I was like, all right, well, it's at least going to like feel, good to like fucking nail these questions. Like they they give you a sample test, and it's like 120 questions ranging from when was America founded, and what document starts with "We the People," who's the current president, who's your state senator or senators, stuff like that. Basic civics shit, some history. 120 questions. Um, I didn't study at all when I did the sample test, and I got 118 out of 20 right. And I was like, okay, I think I'm going to be all right. And I went in, I did the interview, and it was, a fucking breeze. And, the guy wasn't like nice or not nice. He was just very like clinical, and then out of nowhere gets, becomes an interrogator, and he's like, what do you mean you have or haven't been arrested? When? Why? Why is your name spelled like this on this document and not that? And I was just like, hey man, like he's trying to catch me in a lie, like, I'm saying I'm not who I am, or I couldn't even tell what it was, but it was just very like, it was very weird. And I was like, I thought we went through all that. I thought like the 3 years of doing background checks and shit, kind of cleared me of not, being Nick Youssef. So that kind of threw me off a little. And then like the interview just sort of like winds down like abruptly. And then he was like, okay, so I'm going to submit this paperwork, and then you're going to hear back. You're going to have to sign these forms. I'm like, so it's over? Did I win? Not win. Did I win citizenship, the lottery of living here? I'm like, did I pass? He's like, oh yeah. You're just, I'm like, so what am I signing? I don't want to how do I know I'm signing a fucking welcome to America form, or like get in this unmarked van? And he was like, yeah, you're gonna, and I was like, oh, cool, I did it. I'm an American citizen. He's like, so, you're gonna get a notice about your ceremony and exits that way. I'm like, oh, all right, well, thanks. He's like, yeah, congratulations. So you're going to leave a different way than you came in. I was like, okay, dude, thanks for making it feel even like a little celebratory. It was just so like clinical. It's like I went to the DMV to like renew a driver's license or some shit, where they were like, yeah, just stand there for the photo and then go fuck yourself, which is written above the exit. I don't know. It's just like I didn't feel good about it. And I remember like going back to the apartment, and then like feeling sort of like, I guess I'm in now. And I went over to my best friend's place, and he was like, so how'd it go? I'm like, I don't know. And he's like, what do you mean? It's like it should be done now. I'm like, yeah, it feels done, but it was also like there was, the guy was suspicious about some answers, and so when he was like, I'm submitting the results of everything, I'm like, does that still mean that there's like another review of the even though he said like, yeah, you passed, which didn't sound very official and congratulatory, it just sounded like, oh yeah, sure, that's what you need to hear for now. Those are the things running through my head. And he was like, no, you're fine. I'm like, I don't know, man. I really don't. And then I just waited, and they were like, yeah, it should be within like 4 to 6 weeks. You'll get like a notice for your ceremony. And it had to be in Los Angeles. And I was like, so I guess I can't go anywhere. I can't book dates, and, cause I don't know how it's going to work. Are they going to like, they don't tell you anything. They're not going to say like, hey, you're going to have a window of time, and I'm like, hey, I travel for a living. I know this is more important than anything else right now. It's like, they making you jump through extra hoops. Like, well, if you really want to be here, you'll cancel the whole fucking world. I was like, all right, but I still got to work, but okay. So I just told myself, I'm like, all right, for the next 4 to 6 weeks, I'm just not going to book anything, go anywhere. I'm just going to wait. Because as far as I know, they could send a letter or an email, and they're like, your ceremony's on Friday and today's Monday, so fucking get there, you know. Um, and Hey, Larch from North Carolina, what's up? Um, Thanks for listening and watching, or whichever you're doing. Um, so so yeah, man, it was like it just felt not great, and I was like, I don't think it will until the ceremony, which I guess that's why there's a ceremony. But like, citizenship's like a big deal. Even if we're living in a country that seems like it's being like torn apart, like ideologically right now, it's still, it took a lot for my family to come here, and they left a much worse place, and people still are doing that now. They're leaving much worse places. Like, there's obviously a lot of problems here, but there are still people that are moving here because it's a lot better than where they're trying to escape from. And it just felt like there was no real room to, feel any which way about it. And I, have these feelings too, where I'm not like, running around waving a flag like a super patriot and think like, well, if you don't like it, and I know immigrants who are like that. They're just like, if you don't like it, leave. And it's like, dude, you were once the person being told to leave, but so it just didn't. None of it felt good, and it didn't feel bad. It just felt like that feeling of floating and not having, that feeling I've had like my whole life in a lot of different ways. And I was just like, man, I just want to like touch down on and feel like I'm on American soil, like for good. And then I get the notice, and they were like, your ceremony's scheduled on this day. It's at Dodger Stadium, like on the field. Because I guess a lot of these ceremonies have like, thousands of people. I think pre-COVID they could have anywhere from 4 to 6,000 people per ceremony, and during like the lockdown parts of it, they were still doing them, but they would be like 4 people, and they would do the swearing in a courtroom, and I think some of them were over Zoom. And at this point in the process, I felt so just like jaded kind of about, and I was just like, just let me do it over Zoom. Like, I don't, who cares? But they were like, no, they're in person again, and you have to come. And I was like, all right. So I went out there, and I went to the ceremony, and I, got like I would dress kind of nice, not like a suit, but like, like a casual suit, because I just wanted to, be presentable and like respect the ceremony. It's like for that part of myself that was still like, this means something to me, and it means something to my parents and my family, and I'm sure a lot of the other people that are getting sworn in too. And I got there, and it sort of was like, wow, there's like a lot of fucking people here. And I went with my best friend, and and his sister. They're like, oh, we want to go with you, and like, be supportive, and like, take photos and all that stuff. I'm like, yeah, great. So we all drive over there together, and in just classic form, the the ceremony that you have to attend to get your citizenship charges you for parking. Fuck yeah, America. It's unbelievable. And it was like $20 or something. It's like, what? who else is coming to Dodger Stadium right now? Like, no one was using this shit at 7:30 in the morning on a weekday. Weekday? Yeah. Um, it, and I was like, of course we have to pay. We're like, do we get reimbursed for this? Like, what the fuck? We could have done this in a parking lot. Like, so they charge you to pay, and everyone was like just dumbfounded by it. They're like, is this for real? Like, are we gonna get this? Do we like write a letter to someone? Like, when they give us our citizenship, is there $20 in it? So we're back to zero. And I'm like, no, man, this is America. We fucking welcome, but also give us all your money. Um, so we were kind of having a good laugh over that in the row that I was in with all the other um, applicants, and we sat there. It was 85 degrees. They no shelter. We're just baking under the sun, wearing our like nice clothing, and like, dressing nice rarely means short sleeves and shorts. So we're just fucking like, and people are like, God, we could use some water. Sure, yeah, we got water for you. How about pay us $3 for a bottle of it? Fuck yeah, America. It was so funny. Like, you're going to the ceremony to get sworn in to be like a full-fledged citizen, and they're charging you for parking and water. Like, you're making us come to this place. Why are we still paying you for this process? Like, we paid for the application, the this, the that, which is already a lot of money. Just fold that into the cost. Like, we're swearing in 2,600 people. Let's cover their parking, and let's give them water when it's 85 degrees out for free. Nope. Make them pay. And I don't know if that was the immigration service or, Dodger Stadium just going like, we want you to have it here, but, we demand that you pay. And they, I don't know, couldn't. I don't know. Honestly, no. Even if they did say that, even if they did say, no, you have to pay, the immigration department should have just been like, we're going to cover that cost. It just was like one last little like, So I was like, I don't know who to blame. I'll just split the blame for in between the immigration department and Dodger Stadium. And then the motherfucker who owns Dodger Stadium goes up to give a speech, and then he's talking about how he's an immigrant and his dad came over with like, $2 in his pocket, which he wouldn't even be able to afford to park at the fucking stadium you own now, asshole. And he's just giving this whole story about like the immigration and this and that. And I'm sitting here and I was like, he only wanted to do this to look like Dodger Stadium is like pro immigration because, 1,500 of the applicants were, of Latin American descent. And that's a lot of Dodgers fans. That's a lot of Los Angeles, So I'm like, this is just a fucking marketing thing. He doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't care. And so he gives a speech, and he just mostly is talking about the history of the Dodgers and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, quit making this about you, fucking dickhead. This is supposed to be about us and our citizenship, not your stupid sports organization. Thanks for the fucking unsheltered field that we're on. You couldn't even pay for the fucking some type of shade. Fucking dick. I'm all in on being an American citizen. If you can't tell, I'm complaining about everything. Entitlement, dude. I have it now. So then they talk more about the fucking Dodgers, where I'm like, dude, I don't care. Tell me I'm a citizen and let me go home. The Megatron. Welcome back. Missed the podcast and hope the special went well. Thank you, the Megatron. I appreciate that. The podcasts are back. I'm back. Special went well. I can't wait to see it. I haven't seen any footage yet. But it's in post right now. It's coming together, and I'm happy. I'm happy. It's just we did it. We did it. That's what I'm happy about. All right, let me finish the immigration thing. But thank you, Megatron. So the guy just drones on, and then there's like, people from the city just like giving their little speeches about, what it means to be an American. And what was really annoying about the owner of Dodger Stadium, whatever his fucking name is, he kept, and then the person from the immigration department too, they both kept saying, when you like fully or officially become Americans. And I was like, so you don't think we are yet? Or like, that's like a bad way to word it, because the whole thing is immigration from jump. It's like founded by and built by, and in a lot of ways run by immigration. So you can't just be like the full citizens are the only true Americans. I'm like, I've been here since 1986, and before I became a citizen, I was a permanent resident. So I'm like, I'm not an American citizen, but in every single other way, I am an American. So it kept like fucking just making me like, stop saying I'm not an American yet. Like, when you become one, like in 10 minutes, you're not one yet. Don't forget. We're going to remind you up until 3, 2, 1. Congratulations. And they kind of did, and it was annoying. So those were like the main things that bothered me about the whole thing. Like the interview process, I get it, be firm, but also like be a fucking person about it. Be like, awesome, congrats, pat on the shoulder, handshake. Don't hurry to fucking tell me where to go fuck myself. And then the charging for parking, and like the I'm not quite an American yet, verbiage is fucking like, there were a lot of people there, and like a lot of them didn't speak English that well, and the way they're up there talking, like there are gonna be things lost in translation, and you can get people who sound confused and might take something the wrong way. Like, have a little more tact and just a little more like compassion about the process. It's not like enough just to say like, well, you should be happy that you're in here. It's like, yeah, but again, it's about people, not just numbers and tax dollars and shit. So then they do the swearing in ceremony, which takes like a minute, and then they're like, congratulations, you're all citizens. And that's when it like felt good. And honestly, it felt good before that, when they were like, doing the breakdown of countries by representation, like how many from the top 5. They were like, there were fucking 60 countries being represented in that day's ceremony, and the number 1 was Mexico, and then Guatemala, and I think El Salvador. But when they called those countries out, the people went fucking ballistic. Whoa, yeah, and you're just like, oh yeah, man. Like, there are like whole communities of people that are just thrilled by this very day, and they were complaining about the parking too. There's one lady in our row who went and got everyone in our row a bottle of water because she was like, I can't believe they're charging every. You know what? Water's on me. Comes back with a trash bag, which I'm sure they fucking charge her for that too. She comes back with a trash bag full of bottled water and just starts ice cold bottle. And I'm like, how much do I owe you? She's like, honey, you don't owe me anything. And I was like, well, I appreciate it. And those little moments of, there were more moments of community in that row, and I'm sure other sections around it where someone was like, you want to borrow my fan to fan yourself off, or wear my hat, like here's bottles of water. There are more of those going on than there were coming from that stage. That fucking owner of the Dodgers, dick. And then you walk out and you get back in line and you get your certificate, and that's when it felt good. And that's when it felt real. I was like, dude, I did it. I'm an American citizen. Still feels weird to say it. I am an American citizen. It's like, it's weird. I just like, that was always like something other people were, And even though I've always, known I was a permanent resident, I had a green card, there's still ways they can kick your ass out. And I always knew, I was like, yeah, I belong here, but there are moments where you don't feel that way, and especially when like it's on a form, you're like, you're not fully American, and then during the ceremony they're telling you when you become an American. It doesn't feel real to say it. And then I sent for my passport. I applied for a passport, and that was another thing where I was just like, can't believe I'm applying for an American passport, and I haven't gotten it yet. But that's going to be another weird thing to just like hold and be like, I can go places now and not worry about coming back in, and I'll probably still get pulled aside and interrogated and stuff. But yeah, man, there are feelings that I think probably will take a little bit of time to still like really sink in, like just say, or like crossing that off on a form. Are you an American citizen or not? I'm probably not. It's like when the year changes, you're like, it's still put 2021. It's 2022. It's probably going to be like that for a little bit, but it's just, there's a sense of relief, like biting my tongue before I say something or go to a protest, or if I get pulled over, mouthing off to a cop, and that kind of stuff. Yeah, I'm like, I'm in now. I'm here. I feel like I fully, and it's crazy to say I'm 40 years old and I'm like, I'm finally here. I've been here since I was 4. But that's how it is, man. Like they're, they don't make it fun. They don't make it easy. They don't make it affordable. And I don't think it should be a free for all. But there is just sort of a calloused attitude about it, from within, and there could be some changes that would make it feel a little more humane and inclusive, especially with the language barriers and the money, But that being said, now I'm a citizen, so we should probably just close these borders. You know what I mean? There's enough immigrants. Let's get them out of here. Anyway, man, that's it. I am in America now, and I got this armadillo bear. What? No, porcupine. Porcupine. whatever. Um, so yeah, that's that. There's obviously way more details that go into it, but a lot of them are, personal. Um, but yeah, I mean, if you're going through that process, or if you have if you know someone that is and doesn't speak the language that well, like check in on them and help them out, because there's not really much help coming from the department side. Um, you got to bring your own translators and do all that stuff. So, and there are a lot of people there that didn't speak the language that well. So, if you know somebody going through the citizenship process, try and be there for them, because it's stressful, and you do think like you're gonna fuck up, and they're gonna say that was your chance, and now you gotta wait another 5 or 10 years, or you can't be one now. Like, if I was feeling that shit, I know countless other people are. So I don't know, just something to think about, for your fellow almost Americans. Fucking. Anyway, so that was that. That ate up a good amount of my time, mentally too. And I didn't want to talk about it as it was going on, if that makes sense, just because I was like, what if I say the wrong thing and it's on the internet, and then they go, your application's rejected? It says right here in the fine print, you can't do podcasts about becoming a citizen. I wouldn't put it past them, but that was it. I think I should just end the episode on just that subject, and I'll do one tomorrow about some of the things I learned shooting a special, or maybe I could save that one until it's like done, because it's still technically being made, and I'm still learning. I've made a bunch of mistakes, but it's been good. So anyway, this is United States of America citizen Nick Youssef signing out. That's how I sign out from now on for everything. Even when I leave a room and say goodbye, like, this is me, U.S. citizen Nick Youssef, leaving this coffee shop. I'm gonna go put on that shirt. Actually, I'm gonna wear it every fucking day until it falls apart. Yeah. All right. See you on the next one. I think tomorrow. Hold me to it.
It's the end of the show.